Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential and I'm here today to show you how to insert a zip on an overlocker. I'll also show you how to insert piping too. I'll be using my Babylock Desire 3 cover lock machine and the relevant feet, and I'll pop links to everything I use in the video below for you, so just check out the description. I'm also going to share links for Brother, Husqvarna and Pfaff feet for overlockers that you can use to insert piping, and then a set of Janome feet that you can use on overlockers for inserting piping and zips. And if you just always remember to check compatibility with your machine, drop us an email if you've got any questions, we'll be happy to help. Also, just to mention, the zip that I use has got plastic teeth. I wouldn't ever want to use metal teeth on an overlocker, a bit too risky, so I'll pop a link to that zip below for you as well. But let's get started now with these super fun sewing techniques. Let's start by having a quick look at the foot that we're going to be using to insert the zip and also to insert the piping. So it is the 5mm cording foot, and if you look underneath the foot, it has a channel where you insert, you guessed it, the piping. So that will keep everything nice and straight as you sew. Far less room for error than if you were doing it freehand. It will just keep everything nice and straight and you'll have lovely even piping, which is the name of the game. But the same also applies to zipper teeth. So the zipper teeth will actually fit in that channel, and this will allow you to insert a zipper into your projects as well using your overlocker or cover lock machine. So the 5mm cording foot is available to buy individually for the Babylock cover lock machines, the Desire 3, the Evolution, the Gloria and the Ovation. We stock all of these on our website. I'll pop links to them below so you can have a good look at them and have a look at the descriptions. It's also available to buy for the Overlocker machines individually, so the Acclaim, the Inspire, the Enlighten and the Victory. And then you can also buy the 5mm ones individually as well, but this is just one of the really super things about Babylock machines, is that there are so many feet and accessories that you can use with them. So we also do a variety pack. This is one for the cover lock machines, and it includes a blind hem foot, a 5mm cording foot, a gathering foot, a beading foot, an elastic foot and a lace applicator. And then you can also get one of these for the overlocker machines, and that doesn't include the lace applicator but does include the 3mm foot. So again, I'll pop links to these below for you so you can get on and have a look at those. But today, and I will demonstrate some of these other feet to you in subsequent videos, but for today it's all about the cording foot, because I just think the fact that you can insert zips and piping with this foot is fantastic. So I'm just going to show you now, before we go over to the machine, how to prepare the fabric to insert the zip. So this is great for projects like bags and purses and that sort of thing. This is a brilliant technique. So what I would say is always choose a zip that is quite a bit longer than the fabric length that you're going to be using, because it will just allow you to get the machine where you need it to, and it also keeps the metal zipper away from your overlocker or cover lock machine. You do not want that getting, causing any problems with your overlocker. So you put the zip right sides together with the right side of the fabric and line the raw edges up and pin it in place. And then I thought I'd show you as well how a lining would work on it, because you can actually include a lining in this as well. So you could pin that in place first, then apply your lining, or you can just do it all in one. But all you do is you just put the right side together there again, and you just line the 3 raw edges up together. Just make sure everything is lining up nicely, those raw edges, and then just pin that in place. So it's a little bit fiddly if you try and do all 3 at the same time, because you need to be able to try and get everything to line up nicely. So I do like to give myself a challenge when I'm on camera, but yeah, I'm sure we can manage it. So just pin that in place there, and then make sure the zip is lined up with the edge of the fabric again, and pin it in place, and then we'll take it over to the sewing machine and I'll show you how the magic happens. It's not the sewing machine, rather it's my coverlock machine I'll be using, not my sewing machine, and that is the Desire 3 Baby Lock, which is also available on our website. But the zip is now pinned in place and the foot will sit over those teeth and we'll sew like so. So I'll take it over to the machine now and you can see it in action. I've positioned the fabric under the foot and I've got the zipper teeth running in the groove on the foot. So because I've got that extra length of zipper as well, I can actually start off further along the zip if I want to, but this will keep everything in position now. So I'm just going to start sewing. And that groove is keeping those teeth in place really nicely. And you can see there that's sewn into place now. And then if we look at the right side, you'll see it's lovely and evenly sewn, evenly spaced, super neat between the lining and the correct side of the fabric. So we've got that first side of the zip in nice and neatly. And what we want to do now is get the other side of the zip in. So I'm going to start by closing the zip, so that I know when I pin my fabric in place, everything's matching up nicely. And then I'm just going to pin the fabric in the same way that I did before. So right side of the top proper fabric is going to match up with the zip tape and the raw edge, the right side of the zip tape and the raw edge like so. And then I'm just going to put the lining underneath it so that it's sandwiched between the two right sides of the two fabrics, the lining and the main fabric of the purse or the bag or whatever you're making. And I'm just going to pin that in place like so. You'll notice this red mat that's underneath the fabric is it's a slip reduction mat. We stock them on the website for sewing machines and overlockers. And in all honesty, I wouldn't be without mine. It's overlockers can jump around a lot on a dining room table or any sort of soft, hard, flat surface. And it just minimises the amount that they jump around and a bit of the noise as well, which is good. So I've got that pinned in place now. And I'll be able to take that back to the overlocker. But before I do that, I'm just going to unzip the zip. I should have said as well earlier in the video that this is a standard dress and skirt zip that I'm using. I think it was a 14-inch one. We sell them on our website in a wide range of colours and sizes. But yeah, it's just a standard dress and skirt zip that I'm using. I should also have said that you can actually use the wave stitch and the flat lock stitch to do this technique as well. So you can use some of the fancy stitches on Babylock machines as well, which just makes it even more fun and even more decorative. But yeah, I'll just take that over to the overlocker now and stitch that bit in place. And just to give you the settings I'm using on my overlocker as well, I'm using a length of 3, a width of 7.5. I've got the blade engaged. My differential feed's obviously on neutral and my stitch selector is on A, and they're the settings that I'm using. But zipping the zip up just enabled me to make sure everything would match up properly, and then you have to unzip it to be able to get that under your machine then and to be able to sew. So I'm ready to sew the other side. I've got the teeth in the channel again, and I should have mentioned as well, I mentioned about the stitch widths and lengths. I've got it set for a 3-thread overlock, so yeah, that's what I've been using. But let's sew the other side now. So that's the other side sewn, and then we can turn it through, and you can see that it is finished. So let's just zip that zipper up. Sorry, I've just caught a bit of the fabric in there on the other side. Whoop. So there we go. So obviously you want to give that a nice press, but you can see you've got a lovely evenly stitched zip there with the lining. I'll just turn it through so you can see the other side as well. Just bear with me. But yeah, you can see it's lovely and neat on both sides. Here's the lined side. Lovely and even and neat. If you pressed it, obviously it will look even better. And then if you were making a bag or a purse, you would just level everything up at the edges, and you could just simply overlock those edges to finish that off. But yeah, that is how you insert a zip on an overlocker. The primary use of the cording foot is to create piping and to insert piping, so you can even create your own piping to customise it perfectly to your projects. So I'm using the 5mm foot, and I'm using a 3mm piping cord, and then I've cut a strip of fabric which is about 3.5 to 4 centimetres wide. I've cut that on the bias, and what I'm going to do is first of all sew the piping into the fabric, and then I'll insert the piping between two pieces of fabric as well. You might want to do it all in one go. You might not want to insert the piping first. Generally, I would recommend doing that because it just gives you more control and just makes sure that everything's nice and even and neat. But as you get more experience, you might want to just do it all in one go. There's also a really detailed video on how to create piping and insert it on a sewing machine as well on our channel, and I'll pop a link below to that for you as well. But with regards to the piping on the overlocker, you just insert the piping down the centre of the wrong side of the fabric of the binding that you want to use. You could use a ready-made binding as well, but just the beauty of these feet often is that, you know, you haven't got to go with the choices that there are on the shelves in the shops, you know, or on our website perhaps, of the ready-made binding. You think, oh, I've got some scraps of this fabric, really pretty fabric left over, I'd like to use that instead. So I've got the piping inserted down the centre of the fabric there, and you just want your raw edges to match up here. You might want to use just a bit of extra fabric to get going initially, so that you've got a bit of room for manoeuvre and error, you know, just to get everything lined up nicely. And obviously you just want to keep your piping in the channel, but again, that's why this foot's so good, because it just makes that really easy. And again, you can take your time, there's no rush, you know, stop and start if you need to. And I'm using the same settings as I was using previously to insert the zip. So you can just sew a little section like that, stop, reposition, make sure you're happy with where everything's feeding through the channel. And carry on and work your way down the length of fabric. nice. That is the piping inserted in the fabric. You can see it's nice and even. And then I can take that now and insert that between two pieces of fabric and show you the finished results of that. So I've got the piping now pinned between two pieces of fabric. So the fabric is pinned right sides to the piping, and I've got the raw edge of the piping lining up with the raw edges of the fabric. And then the same as all the other techniques that we've done, we're just going to insert the piping back under the cording foot, make sure that it's running through that channel nicely, and then we're going to sew everything into place. And it just feeds it through, the foot does, so you don't have to think about it. And then if we open it up, you can see that looks beautiful, so neat and pretty. And you can use this on things like cushions, you can use it on dressmaking projects. As I said, there's an in-depth video on sewing piping on your sewing machine that I'll link for you below, and that gives you lots of ideas and inspiration as well. And just remember that everything that I've used today, all of the feet, all of the machines, all of the tools, they're all available on our website, and I've popped links to everything for you in the description below. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and you feel ready now to take those techniques away and have a go and have a play around with your overlocker. They are worth so much more than just finishing seams. There are so many more things you can do with them. As always, if you've got any questions or you need any help choosing any of our products on our website, just drop us an email. We'll be more than happy to help, and you can find a link to our website below. And this may well be the last video now of the year. I'm going to have a little break over Christmas, and then I'll come back refreshed in the new year. So I'll look forward to seeing you then. If you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.